It's a beautiful day here in New York, so I thought I would take you for a drive down Route 218 through Cornwall and Cornwall and Hudson into the Town of Highlands and ultimately to West Point Military Academy. Right now we're in Cornwall. We just got off New York Route 9W. We're stuck behind somebody in a VW. We're going under Route 9W. Now Cornwall is a town, but we're just about to our left. You can't see it. I'm not going to swivel the camera, but to our left is NEMA, New York Military Academy, where Donald Trump, presidential candidate Donald Trump. Here, take a look over here. Where Donald Trump went to high school. That's called NEMA, New York Military Academy, and that's in Cornwall. See? Maybe we can see the sign. Cornwall, New York. But now we're about to hit the village of Cornwall on the Hudson, or Cornwall on Hudson. The village is beautiful. People who live in the village have a certain disdain for people who don't live in the village, and I can't say I disagree with them. If I lived here, I'd be kind of a snob too. That's not to say people here are mean. They're very nice. It's a very friendly place, but it's just a gorgeous little village. You can't see it from here, it's about a mile away, but the Hudson River abuts Cornwall and Hudson. There's a landing where you can go and walk your dog and launch your boat. Now we're coming off to the first stop sign here, but we're still on Route 218. Let's look both ways, make sure we don't get decked. Now here we are coming into the village proper. Is that what it's called? The village proper? On the left, down here, we're going to have Painter's Tavern. Not quite yet. Oh, look on the right, there's Cumberland Farms. But over here is Painter's Tavern. I've only been there a couple of times, but apparently it's a really great place. It's been there forever. Now we're going around the curve here, past Duncan Avenue. Here's the post office. Here's the Storm King Engine Company. The fire department. You need a fire put out when you're in Cornwall and Hudson, call those guys. They'll come and help you out. Presbyterian Church, we missed it right there. We're coming up on Village Pizza. Village Pizza, it's okay. The food bank of the Hudson Valley right across the street, ironically from a pizza place. The Village Pizza, it's okay. The texture is like really crispy. It's not overwhelmingly flavorful, but it's alright. Uh-oh. Let's not crash into this big Chevy. Now, if we were to keep going straight here, instead of bearing right and staying on 218, we'd end up at the Hudson River, and it is gorgeous down there. I'm not going to do that today. I will do that some other time. Now, to our right, I think this is... See, I don't call these mountains, but it's like... I think technically it's called Storm King Mountain. So we're on 218, and we're about to leave the village. I'm probably going a little bit too fast. It's a 30-mile-an-hour zone. I'm probably doing 45. Don't tell anyone. Shh. I'm just kidding. I'm doing exactly 30. In fact, I'm doing 29 miles an hour. Now, Route 218, up ahead, maybe a mile ahead, it basically carves its way through Storm King Mountain. And it gets pretty dicey up there, especially in inclement weather. So sometimes this road is closed. This is the last house in Cornwall and Hudson, and you see here there's this gate. See, they closed this road. You can see all this ice on the side of the road here, coming down the rocks. Now this is just beautiful territory. Sometimes in the summer they'll close this stretch so people can walk here and bike here. It's pretty bumpy. Hopefully I can figure out a way to get rid of all this shaking in the camera. But this road is fantastic. See, we're going up the mountain now, and you can see this ice coming down the rocks. And when the weather's bad, when it's rainy or snowy, rocks come down the rocks. And I haven't heard of anyone actually getting hit by a rock, but apparently it's happened in the past, so they will close the road. Now, up here, you can see to our left, you can't really see it necessarily, but over there is the Hudson River. On the other side, I think we're at maybe Storm King or Beacon if you want to cross the river right now. And there's tons of climbing over there, and we're coming up onto a spot right here on the left. This is called High Point, and this is a famous spot. You always see people there. It's really cold today. It's beautiful weather outside, except it's about 15 degrees, 18 degrees, something like that. So nobody's parked at High Point, but usually people are parked there with their motorcycles and their cars, and you can look over the edge once in a while. Somebody falls off the cliff and dies, and that kind of sucks. And apparently one kid fell off the cliff and lived, and that probably sucked even worse. So now I think we're fully out of Cornwall and Hudson. Maybe geographically we're still in Cornwall and Hudson. It's kind of hard to tell. But this road is hilly and curvy, and if you have a really nice sports car, I used to have a Volkswagen GTI, and that was a lot of fun on this road. And if you're into road bicycling, you know, if you're into pedaling bicycles, or even driving one of those crotch rocket motorcycles, it's a lot of fun. It's a good challenge on a bicycle. Now, the next town, I don't know exactly where the town line is, but I think it's called the Town of Highlands. See, I don't know exactly all the names of these towns. I've lived here forever. I don't live in Cornwall and Hudson. I don't live in any of these towns. I live up the street in Newburgh. Hello, Mr. Dodge Truck. Dodge trucks are ram tough. You see, there's woods up here. There's rocks. Apparently, there's timber rattlers in the woods. This is just a gorgeous, gorgeous area, and this guy in the Subaru is probably having fun driving on this road. Now, you can see kind of off to the side, that's the Hudson. I'm not going to turn, there's a wall there, so I won't even bother turning the camera because you won't really be able to see it. But if you've never been to this area, okay, now we're in the Town of Highlands. There you go, Town of Highlands, there's a sign. But if you've never been in this area, you should absolutely come to this area. If you're, if you're in New York City for a while, take a day trip, come up here, see the ice on the rocks. Now, my camera's not so great with white balance, so the coloring is probably pretty crappy. It probably looks way too blue right now. The auto white balance, yeah. Good job, Canon. Well, it's only a $200 camera. See, there's the Hudson, the mighty Hudson. I don't want to mess around with this camera while I'm trying to steer around these curves, but there we go. Ooh, went over the yellow line. Don't tell the police. So what was I saying? Oh, yeah, if you're in New York City for a little while, take a day trip, get a zip car, or even, take a train up here, rent a bicycle, something. It's just such a nice area. The Hudson's beautiful. You can go sailing on the Hudson, you can take a motorboat on the Hudson, but just to come up and see the Hudson, to see these scenic vistas, it's fantastic. And one thing I really like about this route is to my left here, there's a stone wall, and if you're ambitious and brave, you can just walk along the top of that stone wall. On the other side, it's not like a cliff, but it's pretty much just like rocks that have fallen down over the years, so it's kind of scary, but I like walking on top of scary rock walls. So now we're in the Town of Highlands, and pretty soon we're going to be coming up on one of the gates to the West Point military base, military academy. I think it's the U.S. Military Academy at West Point, and I think right here to the left, I think that's one of the gates. I won't really stop there. I don't think they really want you driving through West Point. But up here, not too far off, is the West Point Mint. And they don't make money there, but what they do there is they make like collectible coins. Like if you go to the US Mint website and you buy, for example, a gold coin or a platinum coin, a silver coin, that's what they make at the West Point Mint. And it's a very, very secure facility because they're handling gold and silver and precious metals all the time. So that's what's coming up here on the left. No, this isn't quite it yet. This is more like a kind of a facilities type of place. I don't know if you can even see that. I'm just kind of blindly turning the camera. But right up here, where is it? Maybe I've jumped the gun a little bit. There's some buildings over there, but I think that's West Point Military Academy. wow, things have changed. I haven't been on this road in years. All right, here's a sign for West Point. That's got to be one of the gates. And wow, West Point, Washington Gate. That's look at that. That's pretty intimidating. Whew. I hope none of the guards there saw me pointing my camera at the gate. I'd probably get in trouble. And over here, I think this is where the ski slope. Maybe the Mint was down there. I don't know. I should definitely know where the Mint is, but I don't. So now we're in the Town of Highlands. We've passed the West Point Mint. We've passed the West Point gates. And pretty soon we're going to be coming out to the end of 218, or at least to this section of 218, which is Route 9W. And Route 9W goes up and over the mountain, and it's kind of treacherous. That's why 218 is a shortcut, but 218 is really dangerous in the winter when it's snowy and icy. I prefer to take Route 9W. In fact, I prefer to go across the river and take Route 9D. It's much more mellow. But 218 is quicker as long as you don't mind the curves. So here we are. We're at the junction, and we're going to get onto Route 9W for a little bit to go south. Without getting into a car wreck here. And let's see, how do we go south on... I haven't done this in forever. Okay, so we're gonna head south on Route 9W. I think we're heading south on Route 9W anyway. I hope this guy doesn't mind that I'm making a video of his license plate. So we're south on 9W, and if you keep going south on 9W, you'll ultimately come to, I think it's Fort Lee, New Jersey, where the George Washington Bridge is. I can't remember the last time I took that route. It's a long and winding route. Life's better with a Yorkshire Terrier. That's what it says on their bumper sticker. Maybe it is. So now we're on Route 9W south. And we have avoided it's no we, it's, well, okay, it's me and my YouTube viewers. We're driving under this little pedestrian walkway. This is the West Point Golf Course / ski slope, open to the public. If you want to play golf or go skiing, come on up to West Point. Now we're headed south on 9W, and this road is a big wide road. Goes all the way to New York City, basically. Goes to the George Washington Bridge. One of those crosses. I guess somebody died right there. And this is a big, long hill. In fact, we're at the bottom of a really big, long hill because 9W goes over the mountain, and that hill is pretty treacherous. But I'm going to get back off of Route 9W and stay on Route 218 because that's what this video is. Maybe we'll do a Route 9W going over the mountain video at some point. So now we are on the off-ramp, and we're getting off, and we're going to go onto Route 218. And Route 218, I don't know exactly... Oh, look at this. See the ice on these cliffs here? You get this kind of stuff all over this area. It's going to look very blue. Sorry, auto white balance in my camera. It does not handle the shade very well. So we're going to get on South 218, and this is going to bring us into the village, I think it's the village, of Highland Falls. So here we go, speed limit 40 miles an hour. This is a small road. It's kind of hard to even hit 40 miles an hour on this road. Yes, the village of Highland Falls, you can see the sign right over there. And here we go. You know, I bought a car in Highland Falls one time from this old guy. It was a 1983 Chevy Malibu station wagon. I paid him 240 bucks for it, and I think he thought he should pay me 240 bucks to take it away. He was so happy that I bought it. I bought that car with 75,000 miles on it, and I put When I finally retired the car, it had 208 and it still ran like a champ. So you don't find those cars anymore. People think they're collector's items or something. Maybe they are. Anyway, right now, coincidentally, this car that I'm driving is a 2003 Chevy Malibu. So what is that, 20 years later? But that's my little story about the car that I bought here in Highland Falls. So Highland Falls is kind of a hilly town. Just ask this guy, he's walking down the hill. And we're coming into downtown Highland Falls. Now, it's still like a little village. I think Highland Falls has some pretty sketchy areas, and then it has some really nice areas. Just like any town in the Hudson Valley, except Cornwall and Hudson and Cornwall, they're pretty much all nice. Where I live, Newburgh, I mean, it's like half disaster area and half nice suburb. So now we're coming down Route 218, and pretty soon we're going to get all the way to West Point, and I'm not going to go into West Point because I'm not going to try and explain what I'm doing. Now, Route 218, if we take a right here, Main Street in Highland Falls, then Route 218 will lead us, we'll take it for a little bit, Route 218 will lead us back out to Route 9W, and I don't want to do that, and I can't take a left here, so what I'm going to do is go into this bank and do a U-turn, and hopefully I can do that, because I don't want to be going this direction. There's a Shell station. Good. We can take a left here. So now we're back on 218, but we won't be on 218 for very long. And here we go. This is the village of Highland Falls on the left. But we're coming up to West Point. I think it's called the U.S. Military Academy. The United States Military Academy at West Point. It's a very, very prestigious military academy. It is a tourist destination. It's a beautiful place. If you're on the river and you're looking at West Point from the river or from across the river, it's pretty phenomenal. So that's what we're coming up to now. We're in the village of Highland Falls. We're technically not on Route 218 anymore. And we're just about getting to the end of this drive because I'm not going to go into West Point. See, we're coming up on the gate. Oh, McDonald's. I guess there's a McDonald's everywhere. And here we go. Now, if we went further up, that would be the gate to West Point. I don't want to go in West Point. So I guess we're going to end it there. Thanks for joining me on this beautiful drive down Route 218 on a cold Saturday afternoon here in New York.